Welcome aboard the Story Arc. I'm your captain, Kenny Mears, and let's take a voyage together. Hardship and strife are one of the great sources of stories, and few hardships have captured the public imagination like the Old West and the hard trek of the pioneers. Legends and stories like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Jesse James and Buffalo Bill grow out of this hard Western environment, as do more somber and even spooky legends. We have one such legend to continue spooky season here with friend of the show, Laurie Allen's story, The Lady in White. Here's Laurie.
Hello, I'm Laurie Allen, and I'm a storyteller. I've been a storyteller for more years than most of us can remember. And this happens to be what I'm going to tell today, a legend of the Old West. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. In the days of the Old West, there were a lot of towns that sprang up along the wagon trails. People could make pretty good money with their little trading posts. Most everything was done in barter. But as people went across the plains, sometimes they discovered that they didn't need Grandma's old bureau as much as they needed sugar or flour, and so pretty good deals could be made. Hank ran one of these trading posts, and while he liked to make a good deal, Hank was also very honest. One evening, just at closing time, a woman came into Hank's trading post. She was wearing a long white dress, and she looked very disturbed. As she came in, Hank could tell pretty quickly that she was unable to speak. So he began lifting things off the shelves to see what it is she wanted to buy. No, she didn't need sugar. No, she didn't need tea. No. Finally, he reached from the top shelf a small tin of milk. Yes, that's what she wanted. Well, he pushed the tin of milk across the counter toward her, trying to figure out how he was going to explain the barter system to her, when she grabbed that milk and left, leaving behind a garnet ring. Now, this disturbed Hank because that ring was worth a lot more than that tin of milk, and so he picked up the ring, he went outside to try to explain it to her, but she was nowhere to be seen. So he took the ring back in, he put it in a drawer, he locked up his shop for the night. The next evening, just at closing, this same woman with this haunted look upon her face came in and began gesturing toward the milk. He took out the ring, he pushed it toward her. No, she didn't want the ring, she wanted the milk. So finally, he pulled down the milk, he pushed both items toward her. She grabbed the milk and left, leaving behind some pearl earrings. This was too much for Hank. He picked up the jewelry. He went outside trying to explain to her. But when he looked up and down the street, she was nowhere to be seen. Well, he knew what to do. He went in, he put the jewelry in a drawer, closed it up, locked up his shop, and waited till the next evening. And yes, the next evening, this same woman came in, looking more distressed than ever, gesturing toward the milk. Hank got out the jewelry. He pushed it toward her. No, she didn't care about the jewelry. She wanted the milk. So he finally took the milk down. He pushed all the items toward her, and she grabbed that milk and she left, leaving behind a pearl necklace. This was too much. Hank picked up all the jewelry. He stepped outside. He looked up and down the street. He walked clear to the end of town, looking for anyone he could ask about this woman. But no one knew anything about her. Finally, as he got just to the edge of town, there was a stranger that came walking up, a man. He said he was the master of a wagon train that was some distance out of town, and he had come in that evening to see what his people could trade for the next day. And when he saw that jewelry, he looked very concerned. You see, a cholera epidemic had swept through their camp about 3 days ago. He had buried a woman with her young child, and she was wearing that jewelry. No, Hank said, I did not take this. I'm not a thief. I I can prove it to you. How? Well, we can go out to the grave. You'll find I did not take this jewelry. Well, the wagon master agreed if Hank could find a couple of fresh horses and some tools. And so they collected all of that, and they rode, and with some good riding, they got to the newly dug grave just as the sun was coming up over the mountains. They dug down, they lifted up the coffin, and with a lever, raised the lid. Inside the coffin was the very woman that had been into Hank's store the last 3 evenings. She was wearing no jewelry, but beside her was a young baby, and the baby was still alive. And if that horse and cart fall down, you'll still be the sweetest little baby in town.
The Story Arc is a production of Food for Thought Audio. This episode was written, produced, and edited by me, Kenny Mears. We'd like to thank today's storyteller, Laurie Allen, for sharing her story. Laurie is a member of the Utah Storytelling Guild and Story Tours. You can find more information on her page with the Utah Storytelling Guild at utahstorytellingguild.website, as well as with Story Tours at storytours.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, or wherever you listen to podcasts for more content. And until next time, thanks for listening.